I have been watching you through the window of your soul, observing the way you hold your breath whenever the phone rings or a car slows down in front of your house, waiting for a face you haven't seen in far too many years. I see the invisible weight you carry, a heavy mantle woven from the threads of silence and the sharp needles of regret that have kept you and your beloved child, or perhaps your parent, on opposite sides of a canyon that feels too wide to cross. Do not turn your face away from me, my child, for I am the architect of the impossible, and I have heard the silent screams of your heart in the dead of night when the house is too quiet and the memories are too loud. You have asked me why this chasm exists, why the hands that once held yours have pulled away into the cold fog of distance, and today I am here to tell you that the season of the great drought is coming to an end. I am moving in the places you cannot see, in the deep recesses of their heart where they have buried their own pain, and I am stirring the embers of the love that never truly died, only went to sleep. You worry about the logistics of reconciliation. You lie awake calculating the cost of a journey you aren't even sure will be welcomed, or you fret over the financial ruins that have left you feeling small and incapable of being the person they need you to be. Hear my voice now, steady and true. I am the owner of the cattle on 1,000 hills, and the gold and silver of the earth are but dust beneath my feet. Your bank account does not limit my ability to restore your family. I am clearing the path of the thorns of debt and the briars of lack that have kept you paralyzed by anxiety. You have felt so alone, as if you were a solitary lighthouse standing against a hurricane, but I am the rock beneath that lighthouse, and I am the calm that is speaking to the waves. That specific memory that keeps haunting you, the one involving the old wooden gate at the edge of the garden, the one from the year things began to crumble. I was there then, and I am here now. I saw the words that were left unsaid, and the ones that were shouted in anger, and I am applying the balm of Gilead to those ancient wounds. You have felt as though time is your enemy, that with every passing month, the cement of your separation is hardening, but I am the God who stands outside of time. I can compress decades into moments of profound understanding. I am preparing a table for you, not in the presence of your enemies, but in the presence of your restoration. Do not let your heart be troubled by the silence you hear today, for the silence of God is not the absence of God. It is the quiet preparation of a masterpiece. I am knitting together the frayed edges of your lineage. I am the one who prompted you to read these words today, to remind you that the unique signature of your family is not meant to be a tragedy. You are not a failure because of the distance between you and your kin. You are a vessel of my grace, and I am using this very pain to forge a strength in you that will be the foundation for the generations to come. I see you glancing at the clock, wondering if it's too late. It is never too late for a creator who specializes in resurrections. I am bringing a miracle to your doorstep, one that will not require you to have all the answers or the perfect words. I will put my words in your mouth when the time comes, and they will be like honey, sweet and healing, breaking down the walls of pride and the fortresses of misunderstanding. Your financial worries are a cloud that I am blowing away with the breath of my spirit. Focus your eyes on the restoration of the heart, and watch how I provide for the needs of the hands. You have wept in secret, thinking no one knew the depth of your loneliness, but I have bottled every tear. Each one has been a seed planted in the soil of my promise, and the harvest is nearly ready. The restoration of this relationship is not just for your comfort, but for the fulfillment of a destiny that was written before the foundations of the world. Trust the process, my beloved child. The bridge is being built, plank, by hands that still bear the marks of an even greater love. The fog is lifting, and soon you will see them clearly, not as the source of your pain, but as the recipient of my shared mercy. Rest in me tonight, for the dawn of your reunion is closer than you dare to hope. The silence that has lived in the hallways of your heart for these 7 long seasons is not a void, but a womb where I have been gestating a new kind of love. You remember the last words spoken, those jagged shards of glass that seem to cut deeper than any physical wound, and you have replayed them in the theater of your mind until the colors faded into a dull, aching gray. But I was there in that room, standing between you both, catching the words before they could do eternal damage, holding the fragments in my palms. I am the God of the second chance, but also the third, the 10th, and the 70 times 7. I have been visiting the one you love in the quiet watches of the night. While they turn over in their sleep, trying to escape the shadow of regret, I am whispering your name into their spirit. I am reminding them of the way you used to look at them before the bitterness took root, the way your eyes crinkled with genuine delight at their smallest success. I am peeling back the layers of self-defense they have constructed, the armor of indifference they wear like a heavy coat in the heat of summer. You see the cold exterior, but I see the trembling child within them, the one who is just as terrified of rejection as you are. I am orchestrating a collision of grace that neither of you could have engineered on your own. Do you remember the small garden you once tended together, or the way the kitchen used to smell of cinnamon and hope? Those were not just moments, they were blueprints. I am taking those old blueprints and refining them, removing the flaws of human expectation and replacing them with the iron beams of my unconditional favor. The path back to one another is not through a series of explanations or a litany of apologies that might never feel sufficient. It is through the portal of my presence. As you lose yourself in my love, you will find that the sharp edges of your resentment are being sanded down by the gentle pressure of my hand. I am teaching you a new language, a tongue that speaks life where there was only the language of death and distance. Look at your hands. They have been clenched for so long, trying to hold onto the control of this situation. Open them now. Release the grip on the how and the when. I am the architect of time, and I am aligning the stars of your circumstances to create a window of opportunity that will not be missed. This is not a mere repair. It is a total renovation. I am replacing the rot of old secrets with the fragrance of truth spoken in love. I am filling the hollow places where the loneliness used to howl like a winter wind with the warmth of a fire that will never go out. Even now, as you read these words, a shift is occurring in the spiritual realm. The legalities of the enemy that held this relationship captive are being overturned in the courts of heaven. I have declared a jubilee over your family tree. The patterns of dysfunction that were passed down through generations, the silences, the explosions, the emotional withholding, are being severed at the root by the sword of my word. You are the one I have chosen to break the cycle. It is a heavy mantle, I know, but I have infused your spirit with a resilience that is not your own. You will look back on this season of waiting not as a desert, but as a wellspring where you learned to drink from me alone. The reunion will be sweet, but the transformation of your own soul through this fire will be the true treasure. I am preparing a table where there was once a battlefield. I am preparing a song where there was once a funeral dirge. Keep your heart soft, for a soft heart is the only vessel that can contain the magnitude of what I am about to pour out. Do not be discouraged by the reports of the world or the logic of your own mind. My logic transcends the possible. I am the God who calls those things which are not as though they were. I am calling your relationship restored even while the phone remains silent. I am calling your bond unbreakable even while the distance remains wide. Walk in this reality. Let your footsteps be light, for you are no longer carrying the weight of the reconciliation. I have taken it upon my shoulders. Feel the tension leaving your neck and your shoulders. Breathe in the oxygen of my peace. You are being renewed from the inside out so that when the moment of the embrace finally comes, you will be able to hold them without the fear of losing them again. This is a permanent work, a holy work, a work that will cause those who see it to marvel at my goodness. The story of your restoration will be a lighthouse for other families lost at sea, a proof that nothing is too broken for my touch. Trust in the hidden growth, the roots extending deep into the dark earth where no one can see. The blossom is inevitable because the gardener is faithful. Think of the way the morning light used to hit the breakfast table, a time when things were simple, and know that I am bringing you back to a simplicity that is seasoned with wisdom. I have watched you walk past their photograph and look away because the sting was too much to bear. I have watched you start to type a message and then delete it, paralyzed by the fear of another rejection. I was in those moments, comforting the part of you that felt discarded. You are never discarded by me, and because you are mine, those connected to you are under my canopy of protection. The wall of partition is crumbling, not from a sledgehammer of demand, but from the quiet, persistent dripping of my grace. I am working on the very thing you think is impossible. While you see a locked door, I see a door that is already unbolted from the inside. Wait for the sound of the turn of the key. It will happen when you least expect it, in a moment of ordinary grace, because I love to surprise my children with the extraordinary. Your patience has been a fragrance to me, a sacrifice of praise in the middle of a storm. Soon, the clouds will part completely, and you will see that the sun never stopped shining. It was only hidden by the process of your growth. Rest now, truly rest, for the shepherd is bringing the wanderer home. Think of the silence not as a void, but as a womb where I am knitting back together the sinews of a broken trust. I have seen the way you look at the empty chair at the table, the way your heart twinges when you see a stranger with the same tilt of the head or the same rhythmic gait as the one you miss. I have heard the unspoken questions that haunt your mornings. Did I do enough? Was it my fault? Why is the silence so heavy? Know this, I am the God who redeems the years that the locusts have eaten, and I am even now redeeming the years of your separation. While you have been learning to lean on me, the wanderer has been learning the limits of their own self-sufficiency. I am allowing the world to feel cold to them, so they will finally seek the warmth of the home they left behind. I have placed a restlessness in their spirit that no distraction can soothe, a holy homesickness that points directly back to you. You see the distance as a geographical or emotional chasm, but I see it as the necessary space for a miracle to mature. Just as the seed must stay buried in the dark to crack its shell, the pride of the one you love is cracking under the weight of my gentle persistence. I am bringing to their mind the smell of the meals you shared, the sound of your laughter in the hallway, and the safety they felt before the shadows moved in. I am stripping away the false narratives they built to justify the distance. Every lie the enemy whispered to them, that you don't care, that you have moved on, that they are better off alone, is being dismantled by the truth of my love reflecting through your prayers. Do you feel the shift in the atmosphere? It is the wind of my spirit blowing away the debris of old arguments and misunderstandings. I am giving you a new heart, one that is not hardened by the scar tissue of past rejections, but softened by the oil of my presence. This wait has not been a punishment, it has been a preparation. I am making you a vessel large enough to contain the joy that is coming. If I had answered your cry a year ago, you would have both been too fragile to hold the reconciliation. But now, you are rooted, you are grounded, you are ready to love without the need to control, and to forgive without the need for an explanation. I am the God of the sudden turn, the God who makes a way in the wilderness and streams in the desert. Even now, I am orchestrating a coincidence that isn't a coincidence at all, a chance encounter, a song on the radio, a dream in the night, that will act as the final bridge. You have been faithful in the small, agonizing moments of hope, and I am about to be faithful in the large, visible moment of restoration. The bitterness that once colored your memories is being replaced by a sweet, mournful longing that will soon be satisfied. I am the one who mends the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, and I am working on the jagged edges of your story to make it a masterpiece of my mercy. When they return, they will not be the same person who left, and you will not be the same person who watched them walk away. You will both be new, washed in the tears of this season and dried by the sunlight of my favor. I am moving the mountains of resentment that seemed immovable. I am drying up the oceans of regret that seemed uncrossable. Look to the horizon of my promises. The dawn is not just coming, it has already begun to break. Every prayer you breathed into your pillow when you thought I wasn't listening has been a brick in the road that leads them back to you. You are the gardener of this relationship, and though you have sown in tears, you shall surely reap in shouts of joy. This is not the end of your story, but the beginning of a chapter titled Redemption. Trust the process of the pruning, for it is only so that the fruit of your union may be more abundant than ever before. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning of your love for them and the perfecter of it. Rest your weary mind. The shepherd does not lose his sheep, and I have not lost yours. They are in the hollow of my hand, and I am guiding their steps toward the light of your open door. Be still, and know that I am God, the architect of reunions and the restorer of the breach. The silence is about to be broken by a voice you thought you might never hear again. And in that moment, you will know that I was with you every second of the wait. I have seen the way you walk past their bedroom door, pausing just long enough to catch the ghost of a scent, or the memory of a laugh that once filled those four walls. I have watched you trace the edges of that framed photograph on the mantel, the one where their eyes were bright with a light that eventually flickered out in the storms of life. You have often wondered if the bridge was burned beyond repair, if the wood had turned to ash, and the foundations had sunk into the silt of bitterness. But I am the master builder, and I tell you that the pilings are still deep. The fire did not destroy the connection. It only consumed the dross, the misunderstandings, and the pride that needed to perish before a true temple of love could be raised in its place. Look around your home, the home you have kept ready for a guest who has stayed away far too long. See the way the sunlight hits the kitchen table where you used to sit together. That table will again be a place of communion. I am preparing the bread of reconciliation, and I am brewing the wine of new wine to celebrate the return. Do not look at the clock and mourn the years the locusts have eaten, for I am the Lord of time, and I can compress a lifetime of healing into a single afternoon of shared tears. I have been in the far country with them, even when they tried to hide from my face. I was the nudge in their spirit when they saw a sunset that reminded them of your backyard. I was the sudden ache in their chest when they heard a song that you used to hum while doing the laundry. You thought you were the only one carrying the burden of this separation, but I have placed a holy homesickness within them that no earthly distraction can satisfy. They have tried to fill the void with noise, with work, with relationships that offered no substance, and with the pride of making it on their own. Yet, in the quiet moments between the shadows, it is your voice they hear. It is the safety of your arms they crave. I am peeling back the scales from their eyes so they can see that the enemy they fled was never you, but the fear within themselves. They are learning that coming home is not a surrender of their identity, but a recovery of it. I am working in the secret places of their heart, softening the clay that had grown hard and brittle under the sun of resentment. You must prepare your own heart to be the soft landing for their return. Clear away the thorns of "I told you so" and the weeds of "Where have you been?" Let your heart be a wide-open meadow, fragrant with the wild flowers of grace. I am teaching you, in this long winter, how to love without possession and how to hope without demands. This distance has been a crucible for you both. It has taught you that your love for them is not dependent on their performance or their proximity. It is a reflection of my love for you, unflinching, unrelenting, and unconditional. Remember the day you almost gave up. The day you put the mementos in a box and pushed it to the back of the closet, telling yourself it was easier to forget than to feel. I was there, sitting beside you in that darkness, and I whispered to your soul that what is buried is not always dead. Sometimes, it is just a seed waiting for the spring. The rains are coming now. The atmosphere is shifting. Can you feel the change in the spiritual wind? It carries the scent of rain and the promise of a harvest. I am the God who finds the lost coin and the wandering lamb. I am the father who runs to the edge of the driveway while the sun is still a great way off. I am moving the obstacles out of their path, the debts, the shame, the bad company, and the lies that told them they weren't worthy of your love anymore. I am silencing the accuser who whispers that they have stayed away too long to ever return. There is no such thing as too long in my kingdom. There is only the now of my mercy. I want you to take a deep breath and release the tension in your shoulders. The weight of their salvation and their return does not rest on your fragile strength. I am the one carrying them. I am the one weaving the scattered threads back into a garment of praise. Think of the beauty that is being forged in this waiting. You are becoming a person of such profound depth that you will be able to hold their brokenness without being broken yourself. You are becoming a vessel of my peace. Soon the knock will come, or the screen will light up with that familiar name, or the letter will arrive in the mailbox among the bills and the junk mail. When it happens, do not be afraid. Do not let the past dictate the rhythm of that first embrace. I will give you the words to say, and more importantly, I will give you the power to listen with a heart that has been enlarged by this trial. We are moving into the season of the great gathering, where the broken branches are grafted back into the vine. Your family is my priority. Your peace is my promise. Keep the porch light on, not just in your house, but in your spirit. The shadows are lengthening, yes, but only because the light is getting stronger. The dawn is not a hope, it is a certainty. I am the Alpha and the Omega, and I am the author of your reunion story. I am the one who measures the distance between a heart's cry and its answer, and I tell you that distance is narrowing. Consider the garden in the late autumn. To the eye, it appears as though everything is dying, but beneath the frozen crust of the earth, the most vital work is happening. The roots are stretching, seeking the deep water, anchoring themselves for the growth that spring demands. You have felt like that garden, cold, dormant, and forgotten. But I have been the sun that never set on your soul. I have been the warmth that kept your hope from becoming brittle. Think of the small things I have placed in your path lately. The song on the radio that you haven't heard in a decade. The way the light catches the dust motes in the hallway. The sudden memory of a shared laugh that caught you off guard while you were doing the laundry. These are not coincidences. They are the tremors before the tectonic plates of your life shift back into alignment. I am teaching you the art of the holy wait. It is not a passive thing, this waiting. It is the active preparation of the guest room. You have already started doing it, haven't you? You've stopped speaking of them in the past tense with such finality. You've started looking at their old belongings, the box of childhood drawings, the graduation program, the sweater that still holds a faint scent of their presence, not with a sharp, stabbing pain, but with a gentle, expectant curiosity. This is the evidence of my grace. I am healing the phantom limb of your family so that when the body is whole again, it can walk without a limp. I see the way you have struggled with the what-ifs, the what if I had said this, or what if they never forgive that. Leave the what-ifs to me. I am the Lord of time, and I am weaving your mistakes into a pattern of mercy. I am the one who turns the ashes of your regrets into the beauty of a new dawn. On the other side of this silence, there is a heart that is also weary of the war. They have wandered through the dry places, trying to find a substitute for the love that only home can provide. They have built their own towers of defense, high and formidable, but the foundations are made of sand, and they are beginning to crumble. I am the one shaking those foundations, not to destroy them, but to rescue them. I am the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one who is lost in the thicket of their own making. And when I bring them back, I will not bring them back to the old house of your relationship, but to a new temple built on the rock of my peace. Do not worry about the how or the when. Focus on the who, and that is me. I am the bridge builder. I am the one who walks on the water of your turbulent emotions and says, "Peace, be still." Feel that stillness now. It is the same stillness that preceded the creation of the world. Out of the darkness I brought light. Out of the chaos I brought order. And out of this long, painful separation, I am bringing a union that will testify to my power. You will sit together again, perhaps over a meal that tastes of redemption. The steam rising from the plates, the clink of silverware against ceramic, and the words that once seemed impossible will flow like a mountain stream after the thaw. You will look into their eyes and see not the enemy you feared or the failure you mourned, but a soul that was just as afraid as you were. In that recognition, the last of the walls will fall. I am even now softening the hard edges of your memories. The moments of shouting, the bitter departures, the cold stares, I am washing them in the river of my forgetfulness. I am replacing the records of wrongs with a clean slate. I have seen you standing in the grocery store aisle, paralyzed by the sight of their favorite snack, and I have held your hand in that hidden moment. I have seen you delete the half-written text messages, afraid to be the first one to break the silence. I am the courage that is building within you to eventually say, "I love you," without needing to hear it back immediately. I am making you whole so that your wholeness can be the lighthouse for their return. The bridge is being rebuilt from both sides, though the fog is currently too thick for you to see the other shore. Trust the architecture of my providence. Every prayer you have whispered into your pillow has been a brick laid in that bridge. Every time you chose not to speak ill of them to others, you were reinforcing the cables. The season of the great gathering is not a distant event. It is beginning in the secret chambers of your heart. Keep your spirit soft, like soil after a spring rain. The seeds of reconciliation are germinating. They are pushing through the dark. I am with you in the waiting, and I will be the first to rejoice in the welcoming. My love is the thread that cannot be broken, and I am pulling it tight, drawing you both back to the center where I stand. Think of the silence not as a void, but as a gestation. You often sit in that chair by the window, the one where the sunlight hits the fabric at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you feel the weight of the space beside you. I am in that space. I am the warmth on your shoulder when the house feels too quiet, and I am the quiet strength that keeps you from picking up the phone to offer a defense of yourself that would only be met with a wall of stone. I am teaching you a new language, one that does not require words to communicate worth. You have spent so many years defining yourself by your roles, as the provider, the protector, the one who fixes everything. But now I am stripping away the labels so you can find the essence of who you are in me. This distance between you and your child, or you and your parent, is not a punishment. It is a holy pause. It is the Sabbath of a relationship that had grown weary under the weight of expectations and old patterns. I am dismantling the old structure so that the new one can be built on a foundation of grace rather than obligation. When you walk past their old bedroom and feel that sharp, familiar pang in your chest, do not shy away from it. Let that pain be a prayer. Instead of letting it turn into bitterness, let it turn into a blessing. Speak their name into the atmosphere of that room. I hear the resonance of every syllable. I am even now moving through the hallways of their mind, brushing against the memories they have tried to bury. I am the one who brings the scent of your home to their senses when they are far away, the one who makes a song on the radio trigger a sudden, inexplicable longing for the safety they once found in your presence. You see the closed door, but I see the hinges. You see the silence, but I see the internal dialogue I am having with them in the watches of the night. You worry that they have forgotten the lessons you taught, the love you poured out, but I tell you that nothing given in my name is ever truly lost. It is like a seed that must fall into the ground and die before it can bring forth a harvest. The version of the relationship you are mourning had to pass away so that something more resilient and honest could take its place. Notice the small shifts in your own spirit. Have you not noticed that your anger is being replaced by a deep, oceanic compassion? Have you not found yourself praying for their joy, even if that joy does not currently include you? This is the work of my hand. I am making you a safe harbor. If they were to return today, you would meet them with the same old anxieties and the same old demands. But when they return tomorrow, or the day after, they will find a soul that has been refined in the fire of waiting. They will find a heart that no longer needs to possess them, but is simply ready to love them. I am working on the other side of the bridge as well. Do not think for a moment that I am only focused on you. I am the architect of the entire landscape. I am placing people in their path who speak the truths they cannot yet hear from you. I am using their current struggles to highlight the value of the peace they once knew in your company. Every time they reach a dead end in their own self-sufficiency, I am there to remind them of the open road of reconciliation. You feel like you are doing nothing, but in the kingdom of the Spirit, waiting is one of the most active things you can do. It is the stance of a sentinel. It is the posture of a gardener who knows that he cannot force the bloom but must faithfully water the soil. Continue to water the soil of your heart with my word. Let the promises I have made regarding your family be the air you breathe. When the enemy whispers that it is too late, that too much has been said, that the rift is too wide, remember that I am the God of the impossible. I am the one who parted the sea and raised the dead. Is a hardened heart too difficult for me? Is a decade of silence too loud for my voice to pierce? I am weaving a tapestry where the dark threads of separation will eventually make the gold threads of reunion shine with a brilliance you cannot yet imagine. You see the tangled mess on the back of the embroidery, the knots and the loose ends, but I am looking at the masterpiece from above. Every tear you shed is a drop of ink in the story I am writing, and I promise you, the story is not over. There is a chapter coming that will make sense of this long winter night. I am preparing a table where you will sit together again, and the bread will taste sweeter because of the hunger you are feeling now. The wine of your joy will be aged and rich because of the time it spent in the cellar of this waiting. Do not grow weary in well-doing. Do not let your heart grow hard like the path that the birds of prey can steal from. Keep it soft. Keep it open. I am the one who guards your heart, and I am the one who will eventually guide their feet back to your threshold. Until then, find your rest in me. Let my love be the sufficiency that fills the gaps in your life. I am more than enough to sustain you, and I am more than able to restore what the locusts have eaten. The bridge is firm, the cables are strong, and the fog is beginning to lift, even if you cannot yet see the sun. I see you trace the edges of that silver frame on the hallway table, the one where the glass is slightly clouded by the touch of your thumb over 1,000 lonely afternoons. You look at the smile captured there, a smile that used to fill the corridors of this house with a light that required no electricity, and you wonder if that light has been extinguished forever. I tell you, it is merely behind a cloud of your own making and theirs, a temporary eclipse that cannot undo the sun. I watch the way you pause when you hear a car door slam down the street, your heart skipping a beat as you imagine the rhythm of a familiar footstep on the porch. Your ears are tuned to a frequency that only a parent or a child knows, a silent sonar searching for a signal in the dark. I am the weaver of the invisible, and I am telling you that even now, I am pulling on the threads you think are broken. You see a frayed end. I see a stitch in progress. Your silence is not a vacuum, though it feels like a hollow ache in the center of your chest. It is a womb. Something is being formed in this stillness that could never have been birthed in the noise of your previous ease. I am whispering to them in the quiet hours of 3 in the morning, when the distractions of the world fall away, and the weight of their own choices begins to press against their ribs. I am the one who brings your face to their mind when they see a specific shade of blue in the sky, or smell the cedar and rain that reminds them of the safety they once knew. The pride that built the wall between you is not a solid stone. It is a porous thing, and my grace is like the rising tide, seeping through every crack, softening the mortar until the whole structure becomes unstable. Do not mistake the delay for a denial. You are learning a deeper kind of intercession now, a love that does not demand its own way, but waits with the patience of the mountains. I have seen the half-finished letters you have tucked away in the drawer of your nightstand, the words you were too afraid to send because you feared the sting of another rejection. Those words are not lost. They are seeds planted in the soil of my heart, and I am watering them with the very tears you think are wasted. I am teaching you how to love without possession, how to hold them with open hands so that when they return to a sanctuary and not a cage. The empty chair at your table is not a sign of failure. It is a sacred space I have reserved for the miracle. I am breathing on the embers of their memories, fanning the sparks of the good times, the way you used to laugh until your sides ached over a burnt dinner, the way you held them when the world was too loud, the specific rhythm of your voice that meant home. Those memories are anchors I have dropped into the depths of their soul, and no matter how far they drift, the chain will eventually pull tight. You feel the winter of this separation in your bones, but look closer at the trees. The sap is beginning to move in the secret places. The buds are forming under the ice. I am orchestrating a series of coincidences, a song on the radio, a stranger's kindness, a sudden pang of nostalgia, that are all signposts pointing them back to your threshold. I am working on the calluses of their heart, peeling back the layers of hurt and misunderstanding that have thickened over the years. I am the god of the long game. I am the architect of the return. When you feel the urge to cry out in the middle of the kitchen, do not suppress it. That cry is a bridge. It is a spiritual frequency that reaches them across the miles, a tug on the soul that they cannot explain but cannot ignore. You are being refined in this fire, stripped of the need to be right and clothed in the desire to be reconciled. This transformation in you is the very climate they will need to find their way back. If you were the same person they left, the old patterns would only repeat. But I am making you new, making you wider, deeper, and more gracious, so that when the reunion comes, it will not be a repair of the old, but a creation of something entirely different and far more beautiful. Trust the slow work of my spirit. The fog is thick, yes, but I am the light that the fog cannot overcome. I am standing in the gap where they used to be, and I am holding that space open with my own hands until they are ready to fill it again. Do not mistake the stillness for absence. While you pace the hallways of your memories, dusting off the portraits of what used to be, I am moving in the places you cannot go. I am the whisper in their quietest hour, the sudden, unexplained ache in their chest when they see a sunset that you would have loved. You see a door that has been bolted shut for years. I see a portal that is beginning to creak under the weight of my grace. I am working on both sides of the wall simultaneously. While I am softening the hard ground of your heart, I am also dismantling the fortress of their pride. You wonder why it takes so long, why the seasons turn and the chair at your table remains empty, but I tell you, I am a master of timing. A premature return would only lead to another departure. I am not interested in a temporary truce. I am orchestrating an eternal reconciliation. Consider the way you used to hold your arguments like shields. You would rehearse your defense in the shower, sharpening your words until they were polished and cold. But look at you now. The shields have fallen. Your hands are open, and your palms are scarred with the marks of letting go. This is the posture of a healer. You have stopped asking when they will change and have begun asking how you can love them better in the silence. This shift is the seismic rumble that precedes the miracle. I see you in the grocery store, staring at that specific brand of cereal they loved, the one you haven't bought in 1,000 days. I see the way you quickly look away, the sting in your eyes as you push your cart past the ghosts of your former life. Do not turn away from that pain. Lean into it. That sorrow is not a dead end. It is a fertile soil. Every tear you shed over that empty space is a seed being watered. You feel like you are wasting your life in the waiting, but I am using this interval to strip away the idols of control you once worshipped. You used to think you could manufacture their happiness or force their obedience, but now you know that only I can breathe life into dry bones. This realization is your freedom. Notice the subtle changes in the atmosphere of your home. The air is no longer thick with the static of unspoken demands. You have created a sanctuary of peace, a harbor where a battered ship can finally dock without fear of being judged for its tattered sails. Even now, I am sending ripples through their world. I am the face of the stranger who shows them a kindness they didn't earn, reminding them of the grace they once found in your arms. I am the song on the radio that plays the melody of their childhood, pulling at the threads of their stubbornness until the whole garment begins to unravel. They are running, yes, but they are running in a circle that leads back to me, and through me, back to you. There is no corner of this earth where they can hide from the persistent tug of my spirit. I am the hound of heaven, and I am also the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one who is tangled in the thorns of their own making. You must learn the mercy of the wait. Think of the winter tree. It looks dead to the world, its branches brittle and bare against a gray sky, but deep within the hidden places, the sap is rising. The life is there, gathering its strength for a burst of green that will defy every expectation. Your relationship is in its winter, but I am the Lord of the harvest. I am guarding the roots. I am protecting the core. When they finally walk through that door, and they will not find the person who drove them away with expectations and fears. They will find a well of deep water. They will find a person who has walked through the fire and come out smelling not of smoke, but of heaven. You are becoming the answer to the prayers you haven't even thought to pray yet. When you wake up in the middle of the night and the silence of the house feels like a physical weight on your chest, remember that I am the breath in your lungs. I am sitting on the edge of your bed, counting every heartbeat of your longing. Your longing is a holy thing. It is the echo of my own desire for my children. Do not let the enemy tell you that you have failed or that your mistakes have permanently altered the course of their destiny. My redemptive power is greater than your greatest error. I am the God who restores the years that the locusts have eaten. I am the God who makes a way in the wilderness and streams in the desert. I am knitting together the broken fibers of your history, using the very threads of your pain to create a pattern of beauty that will leave you breathless. The gap where they used to be is not an abyss. It is a womb. Something is being formed in the darkness, something sturdy and resilient. Stop trying to peek behind the curtain of my providence. Trust the hands that carved the canyons and set the stars in their courses. If I can hold the universe together, can I not hold your family? I am the architect, and I am building a bridge of gold over a river of tears. Stay in the place of peace. Stay in the place of surrender. The wind is shifting, and the scent of rain is in the air. Do not mistake my silence for my absence. While you have been watching the horizon for a silhouette that has not yet appeared, I have been walking the dusty, hidden corridors of their heart, lighting lamps in rooms they had long ago boarded up. You see the distance in miles or in years of silence, but I see the distance in the walls of protection they have built to survive their own pain. I am the master of the quiet work. I am the one who moves in the subterranean layers of the soul where no human argument can reach. I saw you when you touched the old growth chart on the doorframe, your fingers tracing the marks of a height they have long since outgrown. I was there in the kitchen when you reached for a second plate, and then remembered, the weight of that realization pressing against your chest like a physical blow. I have counted the nights you sat in the driveway, unable to go inside because the quiet was too loud. Do you think I have forgotten those moments? They are etched into my own heart. Every prayer you have whispered into your pillow when the house was still, every why that you were too afraid to say out loud, has been heard in the highest courts of heaven. I am the father of the prodigal, but I am also the God of the parent who waits. I am dismantling the walls they built for protection, the brick of pride, the mortar of misunderstanding, the thick vines of bitterness that have overgrown the path between you. I am rewriting the narrative they tell themselves in the dark. You see the coldness. I see the fear that hides behind it. You see the rebellion. I see the wounded child trying to find a way back home without losing their dignity. I am working on both sides of the bridge simultaneously. I am not just changing them. I am changing you. I am stripping away your need for control, your need to be right, and your desire for an apology that may never come in the form you expect. I am teaching you a love that is more like mine, a love that gives without requiring, a love that waits without complaining, a love that believes the best even when the worst is visible. Remember the time you walked through the park and saw that sapling bent low by the wind. You thought it would snap, but I had designed it to be flexible. So it is with this relationship. It is bending under the weight of this season, but I will not let it break. The pressures of life are actually forcing a deep-rooted stability that could never have been formed in the sun. I am the one who is orchestrating the divine inconveniences, the moments of loneliness that make them remember the sound of your laughter, the sudden flashes of a childhood memory that bring a bittersweet smile to their face in the middle of a busy office or a crowded street. I am the scent of the home-cooked meal drifting through an apartment window that makes them ache for your table. I am the melody of a song on the radio that breaks through their defenses before they can change the station. I am the one who is keeping your image alive in their heart, even when they tell themselves they have forgotten the color of your eyes. There is a sacred timing to the heart's opening. If you pry a bud open before its time, you destroy the flower. But if you wait for the sun of my love to do its work, the petals will unfurl in a glory that is natural and lasting. I am the sun. I am the warmth. I am the gentle persistence of the spring. You have felt the chill for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to be truly warm. But the frost is receding. Look at your own hands. They have been clenched in a fist of grief for too long. Open them. Let go of the scripts you have written for your reunion. My script is better. It includes more grace than you can imagine and a deeper level of healing than you thought possible. I am not just going to patch things up. I am going to make them new. The relationship that was broken was fragile. The one I am building will be forged in the fire and tempered by the tears. It will be a relationship that understands the value of a single word, the power of a quiet look, and the holiness of a shared meal. I am the God of the second chance, and the third, and the 70 times 7th. Even now, as you breathe, I am whispering your name to them in their dreams. I am stirring a longing in their gut that nothing else can satisfy. I am making them homesick for a place they haven't visited in years. The bridge of gold is being built with every prayer of surrender you offer. It is being built with every moment you choose to trust me instead of your own anxiety. Stay in the place of peace. Do not let the reports of their happiness without you discourage you. Happiness is a surface thing, but I am working in the deep waters. There is a hunger in them that they cannot name, a thirst that leads them back to the well of family. I am the water. I am the bread. I am the way home. I am the architect of the impossible. I am gathering the fragments of your shared history, the broken glass of shattered promises and the dust of forgotten anniversaries, and I am melting them down in the furnace of my love to create something transparent and strong. You have felt like a spectator of your own tragedy, but I am making you a witness of my triumph. The suddenly is being prepared in the slowly. Do not grow weary in the waiting, for the waiting is where the strength is born. I am expanding your capacity to love so that when they return, you will have enough room in your heart to hold them without suffocating them. I am healing your own childhood wounds, those hidden scars that made you react in ways you later regretted. I am making you a safe harbor for the storm-tossed soul that is coming your way. The scent of rain is not a delusion. It is the atmospheric shift that precedes a downpour of my mercy. It will wash away the grime of the past and soak into the parched places, bringing life where there was only dust. You will see green shoots appearing where you thought the fire had destroyed everything. You will see the fruit of your patience. Just stay. Stay close to me. Let me be your comfort while you wait for them to be your joy. For I am the greatest joy of all, and I will never leave you or forsake you. I am the one who stands at the gate, looking down the road, and I see them. They are still a long way off, but they are turning. They are turning their face toward the light. Can you see the dust rising on the horizon? This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a magnificent middle. I am knitting, I am building, I am breathing life into the dry bones of your history. Trust me with the details. Trust me with the timing. Trust me with the heart that you love so much, for I love them even more than you do. I am their creator, and I am your father, and I am bringing my children back together. We are moving toward a moment that will make the years of silence seem like a fleeting dream, compared to the weight of the glory that is coming. The silence you have inhabited for so long is not a void. It is a womb where I have been gestating a miracle that your eyes are not yet accustomed to seeing. You have looked at the empty chair at your table and felt the sharp pang of a name unspoken, a name that tastes like copper and salt on your tongue. But I tell you, that name is being whispered in the corridors of heaven with a different cadence now. While you were weeping behind closed doors, I was walking through the locked rooms of their heart, turning on lights they had intentionally shattered. I have seen the letters you wrote but never mailed, the ones tucked into the back of your prayer journal, their edges yellowed by the oils of your hands and the dampness of your intercession. I have read every line. I have felt the weight of every period and the desperation of every question mark. You thought those words fell onto a cold floor, but they fell into my palms. I am the God of the second chance, the third act, and the 100th return. Do you remember the small things? The way the light used to hit their hair in the summer, the specific pitch of their voice when they were excited. I have not forgotten these details, and neither have they, though they have tried to bury them under layers of pride and perceived injury. Right now, in this very moment of your waiting, I am applying the divine solvent of my grace to those layers. I am melting the ice that has encased their memories of you. They are beginning to remember the warmth of your kitchen, the safety of your advice, and the unconditional nature of your gaze. They are weary of the far country. The husks they have been eating no longer satisfy the hunger I have placed within them, a hunger that can only be filled by home. I am rearranging the circumstances of their life to point them back to the threshold where you stand. It is not a path of shame they are walking, but a path of revelation. I am removing the scales from their eyes so they can see that the bridge they thought they burned was actually built of stone, and I am the mortar that holds it together. Watch the way the seasons are shifting. Just as the winter must eventually bow to the insistent green of spring, this season of estrangement is losing its grip. I am the one who restores the years the locusts have eaten, and I am not just giving back what was lost. I am giving it back refined, purified by the fire that you thought was only meant to consume. This restored bond will not be fragile like the old one. It will be forged in the furnace of forgiveness. You will look at each other and see not the scars of the past, but the craftsmanship of a Savior who knows how to mend what is shattered. I am preparing your heart even now to receive them. I am teaching you how to embrace without clinging, how to love without the shadow of fear. When the knock finally comes, and it will come, as surely as the sun finds the horizon, you will find that your arms have grown stronger in the waiting. You will find that the bitterness has been replaced by a wellspring of compassion. I am the master of the suddenly. In one moment the phone will ring. In one moment a shadow will cross the driveway. In one moment the wall will crumble into dust. Do not weary of the watch. Your persistence is a fragrance to me. I am the father who ran to meet the prodigal, and I am the father who stayed in the field with the elder brother, and I am here with you now, holding the robe and the ring. We are not just waiting for a person to return, we are waiting for a resurrection. And I am the resurrection and the life. Your family history is not a tragedy, it is an epic of redemption. Every tear you shed has been a seed planted in the soil of their soul, and the harvest is ripening even as I speak. Can you hear the sound of the wind changing? It carries the scent of reconciliation. It carries the promise of a table where every seat is filled. The shadows are lengthening, but only because the light is so bright on the other side. Trust the hands that were pierced for you. They are the same hands that are guiding them home. I am your peace. I am your hope. I am the architect of this reunion, and I do not leave my work unfinished. Rest in me tonight, for the dawn is coming, and with it, the sound of a voice you thought you might never hear again, saying the words that will heal the broken places forever. You are loved with an everlasting love, and so are they. We are coming home together.